today's class, first of all, what we're going to be doing is starting to go over, once again, 6 keys to getting the outcome you really want. And we started to do this last week. And it reminds me of a story, true story, that happened to me about 10 years ago. So whenever I'd walk up to the post office from my house, there was a cat. I'll call him an alley cat, her an alley cat, because she lived in the just out in the yards and backyards and liked it. And she was kind of a scary cat. So if you approached her, she'd arch her back and she'd hiss and she'd go, ha! And I noticed it, but I found her curious. I found out her name was Charisma. Somebody had, so I'd say, hi, Charisma, and she'd arch her back and she'd hiss and she'd go like this, and I'd move on. Well, one day I was walking and there's the cat. And along with the cat, I saw a mother came with a little boy, and the boy was about 5. And the little boy looked at the cat and put his hands on his shoulders and went over like this and just looked at the cat, curious, looking at the cat, what it was doing. And the cat immediately rolled over and purred. And Mom didn't let him pet the cat, but I thought, huh, that's interesting. So I went up to the post office and I came back, and there's Charisma, and she looked at me, and I decided to just put my hands and look at her and be curious about her. And she looked in my eyes and she rolled over and she purred. So I reached down to pet her and she let me pet her. And then she followed me home. And then it was in the summer, so I would see her often. She preferred to live outside. But then eventually when it got real cold in the winter, like today, I'd see her outside my house, so I let her in my cellar and let her stay there for the winter. And the good news about that was that I live right across from a big pond, and in this cold weather, the mice try to come in. She kept all the mice away. I never had any mice that summer, that winter. But more important than that, what I realized is it was like approaching life. If you approach life fearfully, like approaching this board, which several of you did last time, if you approach life fearfully, or this board fearfully, like Charisma, life will arch its back. It will growl at you and it will hiss. But and it will give you a rough time. And if you approach life curiously and feeling confident that you can handle life, life will roll over and purr for you. And that's just the way it is. And that has always been the way it is, and it's the way you're going to find it to be. You must be willing to be very curious, learn from life, notice how life responds and reacts, but then be confident that there's something to gain from that, and life will love you and it'll support you. But if you approach life fearfully, I can promise you, you will have one problem after another stop you from fulfilling on your dreams.